Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Let's Play Planet Coaster Christmas Wonderland here on Theme Park Worldwide. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that watched the first episode in this brand new series of Planet Coaster here on the channel. I can't believe just how many of you have missed having Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. Of course, the previous series, Atlas Adventure Resorts, that ended earlier this year. So yes, it's great to be back with a new winter project and of course working on Christmas Wonderland, and we're straight in with a brand new ride into this park for the new area that I'm starting work on in this episode. It's Candy Cane Lane, and as you can see, I've just put in a nice classic flat ride there, a Huss Condor. There's not really loads of those out there these days. They're quite a rare flat ride, and the nice classics, you know, I do really enjoy them. I think they ride quite good. Good family flat ride. They're not too intense. As much as you look at it from the ground and an off-ride perspective, and you think, blimey, you know, they're probably going to be quite intense. They're not at all. Anybody that knows a Huss Condor who's been on them although they're not really too intense at all. So I thought that'd be a nice addition to put in, because I'm going to have quite a thrilling ride just around the corner from this shortly as well, that you'll see me add in after I've finished work on the buildings that you can see here. So yeah, straight in with it. We've got the flat ride in there, and this is the start of Candy Cane Lane. I mentioned this in the previous episode. It's an idea that I've had for quite a while, and I also mentioned how the entrance sort of plaza, the square that we built in episode 1, is got a very cold feel to it, with all the blue and white. With this, what I wanted to do was make it a bit of a warmer feeling, so have some white buildings but then smother them with lots of different theming and lights, and with lots of greens and reds, quite a lot of red, just to keep it nice and warm and vibrant. And that is exactly the plan with this street area that we're putting in here. So you'll get more of an idea for the layout of this throughout the episode, but it's kind of going to stretch down here and then off to the right hand side. And then I'm also going to be building a dark ride inside this area as well. So there'll be 2 different flat rides and a dark ride that will form part of Candy Cane Lane. I'm not really going too into the different themed areas with this, as I mentioned in the previous episode, but I do want the areas to be clearly separate from each other in terms of the identity of the colours and the lighting. The entrance is very blue. This is going to be very red and green, as you'll see with the lighting, and already putting in some nice lighting there all along the front. So this is kind of like how your Christmas lighting would look in your local high street, maybe. When you walk down your high street, you look up and you see Christmas lights stranding across. That's the vibe that I wanted to create here. However, I decided to add the LED lighting, of course in the middle as well. You've got some sweets on there and the actual candy cane. So them lights are going to stretch all the way down the main part of Candy Cane Lane, just down the middle. Now, if you're not feeling hungry already from all this talk about candy, you're definitely going to feel hungry by the time this episode comes to an end and you see the dark ride that I'm going to be working on. It's going to be this sweets and chocolate factory where everything's going to be a bit larger than life inside there, but more about that coming up later in the episode. With the buildings that you can see here, I'm using a lot of the scenery items and building tools and pieces from the vintage pack that was released in Planet Coaster. I used this building style quite a lot actually when I built, of course, the vintage park. Quite a lot of the buildings looked exactly like how this is going in here, and that was what I wanted. I really liked that old sort of style, and that's what I wanted to bring to Candy Cane Lane, that old style of buildings, but very vibrant with the greens and reds on there. I mean, you look at the windows there, it's very stands out, doesn't it, especially against the white background, using those colours. And as you can see on the building, we've put like the green little slides on there as well, like the wooden slats coming down. I just thought they'd fit on there quite nice as well. Anyway, we're putting in that second flat ride just here now. I've actually been on one of these, a really interesting contraption that I went on at Six Flags Great Adventure when we was in the USA last year, and it's actually an ABC tourbillon, or I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing that right because I believe it's a French word, but yeah, ABC tourbillon is what it is, and a very interesting ride. So I thought, you know what, let's put it in. It looks quite pretty, doesn't it? With all the lighting on there. And it'd be a great one to have in this park at night as well. So, yeah, I've put that one in there. We've got a nice old school flat ride. Of course, the Husk Condor. Then we've gone in with that straight from ABC. And some more theming will be coming to both of those a little bit later. Decided to put a stage into this area because I thought, why not? I really want a big focus on entertainment, especially with it being a Christmas themed park and that winter vibe, that winter Wonderland style vibe. Of course, it normally happens down in Hyde Park in London. Brilliant event that I absolutely love. It's not coming back this year, unfortunately. However, hopefully next year it'll be able to go ahead again. Let's really hope so. It's a fantastic event. It brings so many different rides from all across Europe, including, of course, Olympia Looping from Munich that comes over, which is an absolutely incredible traveling coaster. It's the biggest traveling coaster in the world. And that comes over every year, you know. So, yeah, hopefully that can go ahead again next year. But what I'm trying to say with this is that Winter Wonderland, yes, it's got the rides, but it's also got the vibe. It's got the atmosphere. And that's what I wanted to create here in this park. So this is the first of many different stages. This is right at the entrance to Candy Cane Lane when you come into this area of the park. So, yeah, you can see it's just going to be on the right-hand side. You'll step in. You're going to be greeted by the 4 different singers there as well. I've changed all the colours. That's the beauty of Planet Coaster. You can customize pretty much anything to get it right and how you want it with the different colour schemes, and I thought that'd be fantastic. We've put some green on there, we've put some Christmas trees added on there as well. People in the past have asked me, how do you add scenery on top of other things and rides, for example, like them lights there? Why is it not like the standard settings in the game? It wouldn't actually allow you to put them there. It's quite simple. If you go into the settings in the game, you can literally just change it to disable like scenery collision or collision with the rides, and it means you can place things wherever you want to. So, oh, that was a nice shot with the moon, wasn't it? Full moon up there in the sky. But yeah, you know, you can change that, so it's worth looking at your settings. You don't want that all the time. It's like you can do it with the terrain as well, like, so when you build up rocks and hills and mountains, you know, it'll actually cover the track instead of actually digging a tunnel straight away and doing the auto tunnel. It'll you know, you can sort of customize it from that and do your own tunnel and move it piece by piece. And I know people who've done that before in Planet Coaster to make like animals out of the rocks and stuff like that, and you know, and out of hills, and sculpt it, if you like, out of all the different scenery tools. Take a long time, but you can certainly do it if you want to. You can do anything in this game pretty much if you want to, other than really build a functioning water park. But you never know, we might get that at some point in the future. Talking of Planet Coaster development though, from reading the comments, a lot of you are very excited to play Planet Coaster on console. It comes out next week. I know a lot of you are really excited for that. Another reason for me starting up this series when I did, because I know a lot of you will be looking for inspiration and tips. Of course, I am playing this on a PC. I don't actually own a console to play it on. I've never actually gone into consoles and games and stuff like that. I've played it around friends' house and stuff before, but it's one of them that I've never really got into console games because all I've ever done is played stuff on PC to do with theme parks, I'll be honest, you know, like your Roller Coaster Tycoon, played all the classics over the years, you know, Thrillville, all these different games, just Theme Park, there was one called, of course, No Limits. I've spent quite a bit of time in No Limits messing about, and Planet Coaster and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 are the main ones for me, and the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, I was a big fan of that too. I actually did a Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 Let's Play series quite a few years back now before Planet Coaster, and it's worth checking out. You can see what I can do with that game. As much as it's very different to Planet Coaster, I still love it. And in fact, there's sometimes, I mean, I've not had it yet with this project, Christmas Wonderland, but when I've been working on some of these other mega parks for the channel, I've just needed to switch Planet Coaster off, have a few hours like away from it, and build something in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. You can build a full functioning park and complete a scenario in the time it takes to build one small area, or ride. Sometimes a dark ride can take ages in Planet Coaster, but with RCT2 you can really just go to town in a short period of time, and I think we all need that sometimes. You have like a creator's block sometimes, and you need to just think, hang on a minute, let's hold fire. Let's stop placing each object down piece by piece in Planet Coaster, and let's actually go and have a little break and play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 for a bit. I'm sure there's a lot of you that can relate to that. Come on, like, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. What other theme park games do you play or have you played over the years? You know, what was your favourite Roller Coaster Tycoon? I mean, you know, I could open a massive debate into this. For me, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 was the best in the series. I liked the expansion packs, I liked how it looked, and it was like a follow-on from the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, but you could actually bank corners. You know what I mean? It was like a lot of extra stuff came in. I loved the original, but 2 just hit the nail on the head. And then, of course, the development changed for 3, and yeah, there was a lot of issues with 3. But it seems like the mobile version, I mean, I've not played it, but the mobile version looks like it combines kind of the best of all 3 of them together, I guess, from what I've seen. I might have to look at playing it at some point and having a little go. I don't think I'd ever do a series on that because, you know, I like to stick to Planet Coaster really now. But you never know, I might do a Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 series again at some point. You never know. Anything's possible in the future. Anything's possible this winter, especially with restrictions coming into place, and we don't really know when theme parks are going to reopen again, and then we're into the closed season anyway. Normally over closed season, I'd take a lot of time going abroad and visiting theme parks, and that's not the case at the moment because there's travel bans coming into force in the next couple of days, and also theme parks abroad are closed as well. So yeah, it's pretty limited when it comes to options at the moment. So yeah, anything's possible with videos this winter on the channel. Still got a plan in place. There'll still be a video every day on the channel, whether it's the Planet Coaster series. Of course, there's still 8 more episodes to come in this series across the next 8 weeks, every Wednesday here on the channel. But there'll be a mix of POVs and off-ride videos, and I've got a few other videos planned for next week actually that'll be coming. So, you know, there's a lot to look forward to. A lot more sit-down videos, possibly some more live streams and quizzes as well coming up. So yeah, I'm just sort of finalising them plans, and as you're probably watching this, we're just wrapping up at Alton Towers for the last day of the season. At Alton Towers, of course, the season's been brought to an end earlier than we'd hoped for. We were hoping it was going to be on for another couple of weeks with an annual pass weekend and then a final weekend of the season, but unfortunately that isn't the case. Anyway, as you've seen here, Candy Cane Lane is really coming together nicely with all the decorations around on the different buildings. And I'm just starting to put in the pathways now, just so we know where this area is going to expand. And if you haven't guessed it already, I mean, come on, if you've watched me play Planet Coaster for a while, you'll know when I sort of eye up areas for different rides. The dark ride is going to sort of span off just next to that ABC flat ride that I put in. It's going to be in between there and the pathway. It's not going to be a huge dark ride, but you'll see more about that in the next couple of minutes because I'll be swiftly moving on with that. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the area. We've put the snow on the roofs, of course. You know, I'm not covering all of the roofs in snow because of different materials. It'll melt different on different materials and that sort of thing. So that's the plan with this anyway. But yeah, I do want to make sure there is some snow. You know, some will have more than others depending on the area. And yeah, like I said, the material, not all snow melts as quick on different surfaces. You know, it's like sometimes there'll still be snow left on the floor, won't they? But they won't be on the roofs, you know, and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what we can kind of bring into the storyline with this. And of course, it's a snowy climate here anyway, so it means pretty much at the time of year when this is set, you know, it would be a snowy sort of time for the park, and you know, because of where it is, that's the location of it. And as I mentioned previously, this isn't being set up as a travelling fair, what's come in for Christmas and then it sort of all packs down. This will be a permanent theme park that's Christmas themed, that we're working on here. And of course, in the current climate of what it would be the winter season there with all the snow on the ground as well. That doesn't necessarily mean it would always be snowy, but it depends on exactly where this park is. I haven't really decided yet in my head where in the world this park could be. Maybe, you know, the North Pole or something like that. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's got to be somewhere like that. Maybe somewhere touristy. A lot of people go to the North Pole, don't they? So we could maybe say that the park is set there. But, you know, it all depends, doesn't it? Is it snowy there all year? I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't think it is. I really don't know. I need to look at that one, don't I? Well, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, talking of this dark ride then. So this is going to be the show building for it. And as you've you've seen from dark rides I've built before, this is pretty small in comparison. I've got plans for a few different dark rides to come into this park. I don't have plans for any of them to be absolutely huge. They're more going to be some smaller dark rides. This isn't going to be a massive major theme park. It's going to be a standard sort of size park. It's not going to be a mega resort or anything like that. So I don't feel like it would have absolutely huge dark rides. But yeah, we're going in with this small dark ride here. And like I say, this is going to sort of take you into this factory where they're making all these sweets and cakes and chocolates all in time for Christmas. But everything is huge in there. Like, everything's been blown up inside there. There's going to be these gingerbread men that, maybe 10, 20 times the size of what they actually would be. You're going to go through and there's going to be all these truffles and sweets down the side. There's going to be buttons on the wall. It's going to be really going to town with this. There's not going to be much in terms of animation throughout the ride. A lot of the scenery will be quite static, but in the next episode I'm really going to work on the lighting effects. We're really going to have a big focus on lighting inside this dark ride. But you'll see now I'm just starting to put some of the flooring in there, and I'll talk more about some of the theming that I'm starting on in just a moment. But first, let's talk about names, shall we? Yes, because in the last episode, the first episode of this series, I asked you to name the 3 different rides that I built in my opening area here for the park. So I'm going to go through them now, starting off with the carousel. So a big thank you to Efun Millam for coming up with Claus's Christmas Carousel, as in Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I like that one, Claus's Christmas Carousel. It stood out to me when I was reading through the comments. So many comments on the previous episode. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. And yeah, thank you for that awesome name. For the Ferris wheel, a big well done to Braden Broneski. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Braden Bronsky. Yeah, I think that's right. Sorry, I am awful at pronunciation. Who's gone for Glacier Heights for this one, or Glacier Heights as it should be, shouldn't it really, for the Ferris wheel. I've always said Glacier, but it is Glacier, I believe, isn't it? Is the correct way to say that. You can tell I didn't do very well at school, can't you? But yeah, Glacier Heights, so thanks for that one. Braden, that's for the Ferris wheel. And then finally, of course, we've got the classic whip. I was calling it the skid for some reason the previous episode. We all know it's not a skid, it's a whip. But yeah, I realised when I was editing it afterwards that, hang on a minute, I've called it the wrong thing, but I thought I'll just leave it in and I'll explain it in this episode. Yeah, it is a classic whip, what we've got in there. Of course, a skid's one of those where you put your foot down and it sort of spins you out to the side. With the whip, that it kind of does that for you, whereas obviously the skid you have to do that yourself. I do like the classic whip though. It gets to the corners and it proper literally whips you round into the back of your seat, and you don't have to put the effort in like you do on a skid. As much as I enjoy a skid, you really have to put a lot of effort in. By the end of it, you're shattered. It's quite a workout doing that, whereas on a whip it does it all for you. Well, most of the time it is. I'm pretty sure I've done one where you did have to press a pedal as well. It was kind of like half a skid and half a whip put together. Yeah, it was a bit weird. It was abroad at a fun fair where I did that. But there you go for the name for this one. Anyway, getting sidetracked. A big thank you to Game Master James for coming up with this one. It's Dance of the Nutcracker. I thought, you know what, that'd be a nice one to go for. I have got some gingerbread men in there, but there's some nutcrackers out the front, but I'm probably going to add some more around there as well. And a few people are saying I need to put some more gingerbread men in there so you can see them on the back as well. Yeah, you are correct. I am going to do that. So yeah, I'll certainly do that at some point before we get this park open to the public. I was saying in the previous episode actually about getting this park open relatively soon. That still stands. What I'm sort of planning to do is get this dark ride finished in the next episode and work on the next sort of area that's going to span off to the right of this, and then we'll get this park open. We'll get some people in and hopefully we'll be able to keep it open whilst I'm building the rest of the park. Like I say, it's not going to be a huge place this, so I think the FPS, the frame rate should be okay for it. But if it does cause an issue, we'll just close the park again and reopen it. But yeah, that's my plan anyway, because we'll have a bit of a square for guests to walk around. I don't want to open this park and the dark rides at the end for now until we've built more and they have to backtrack themselves. I want guests to be able to follow a full circuit round. But yeah, so that's the plan. Maybe it'll be episode 4 possibly by the time we get the park open, I'm thinking. Or maybe the end of episode 3. I don't know. It all depends on how much I can squeeze in to the next episode. Anyway, let's go back to this dark ride then. You've probably been wondering, whoa, what's been going on over the past couple of minutes whilst I was reading them names out. As you can see, we've got loads of wafers. Like, put your hands up if you like wafers. I'm like, hang on a minute, there's not much point putting your hand up, I can't see you. How many people actually put their hands up then? I bet quite a few if you did. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, we've got these wafers. So it's like a, you know, like I say, you're being shrunk down and going into this place, and everything's like huge. You're thinking, hang on a minute, like, why is everything so big? But that's the sort of feel for this factory. Everything's like a little bit crazy. You know, you got this crazy inventor, a bit like a Willy Wonka style character, who I would have sort of in the pre-shows for this and in the Q-Line videos. A bit like your Willy Wonka, he's all a bit crazy. And yeah, he likes things to be huge. So that's why everything's big, including these huge chocolate fingers that we've got in here as well. So, oh, does anybody else love chocolate fingers? Honestly, I love them to bits. Like, it's making my mouth water. Like, it's literally watering right now when I'm sitting here filming this. Honestly, like, I told you what, at the start of this episode, I did warn you and say, you know, you might feel hungry by the end of it. I love wafers, and I absolutely love them chocolate fingers. They are absolutely delicious. So, you've got them truffles going in there as well. Oh, God, it's nice this, isn't it? You can imagine. A big thing with this ride, if it was real as well, would be calling up my good old friends at Aroma Prime, who do all the theme park scents, and I'd be getting them to get out some of them old Charlie and the Chocolate Factory scents, what they used to provide to Alton Towers, and would be getting them in here, because can you imagine going into each of these rooms, and it's smelling like wafers? I mean, then you go into that room and it smells like chocolate fingers, and then you go into the next room, you know, which is going to be like this main part of the factory itself, and it smells like all this machinery and chocolate rivers and all that sort of stuff, that sort of smell. Can you imagine? That was actually one of the best parts of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the ride at Alton Towers. I mean, of course, that shut a few years back and it's the dungeons now, but the ride itself used to have lots of different smells inside. There was quite a few different ones used. It was a very good attraction for the smells, actually. As much as the theming might not have been as good as I would have liked, I'd still have rather have had that than the dungeon that we've got now, an upcharge attraction. I'd have loved to have just kept something there, a nice family boat ride, or even better, a new version of Toyland Tours would have been great, or Around the World in 80 Days, the ride that was there prior to Toyland. But something like that I would have loved to see, but you never know. The dungeon isn't going to last forever there, I don't think. I imagine it'll be more of a temporary thing, you know, well, permanent, but only for a few years, should we say. I don't think it's in the long-term plans to keep the dungeon there, or at least I hope not anyway. Again, let me know your thoughts down below in the video comments. I read every single comment here on Theme Park Worldwide, as always, and I would love to know exactly your thoughts. Anyway, I'm going to need some names, guys, of course. I'm going to need names for the Condor, what we put in, of course. That's fitting in with the candy cane theme, so think about that. Along with that as well, we've got the big spinning ABC flat ride that needs naming, and also this dark ride as well. We'll name that in the next episode. So 3 more names that I need from you all. Get commenting down below, get your ideas and thinking caps on for that one. And also, I was mentioning to you just about storylines. I mean, you guys are amazing with Project Globe Explorer with coming up with storylines. So with this dark ride, you've heard me over the past few minutes explaining it. This is your factory. You're going into this place. Everything's huge in there. Come on with a storyline for this one, and I'll pick the best one for the next episode. So yeah, let me know down below in the video comments. And as always, I look forward to reading through them all and picking my favourites. And yeah, you know, I really like the idea of keeping the series interactive, and I think you guys do too. You come up with some amazing names and theme ideas and suggestions, and I really like it. And you pick up on things sometimes that I might have forgot as well, or you'll notice, oh, that doesn't look quite right or something, you know, and you'll tell me, and it can get fixed then in the park and in the series, you know, and that'll continue, of course, with this. But blimey, I've been rambling on for nearly 24 minutes, but I hope that you're enjoying the series so far. The park's certainly growing at quite a rapid rate now. You know, we've got 2 pretty big areas. This dark ride will be finished in the next episode. We're going to really work on the programming. We're going to trigger some lighting inside there. We're going to think about audio, programming the ride. Like I said, there's not going to be too much movement in there. The most movement will be in this factory scene, which I'm working on just here. You got all the cogs on the walls and the wheels spinning round, and I want to put some more smoke and stuff in there as well. Really think about the lighting. So yeah, you know, that's all going to come in the next episode. With this, for the dark ride, it was more about putting the scenery in and the ride system itself, and it's coming together really well. I'm very pleased with how it's looking, to be honest. Colouring in the floor there as well, changing the tiles, because I wanted this room to be even more wacky and crazy than it was. I thought, well, hang on a minute, you know, we've got all this crazy stuff, let's just not have a black floor in there, let's do some different colours, you know, and brighten it up a little bit and try some different ideas. So yeah, I thought, why not? I thought, well, yeah, I want this room to look silly and a bit funky. So yeah, that's why exactly I've put all of that into there as well. You can see you got all sorts of sweets and stuff in there. Oh, it looks so nice, doesn't it? Just putting in the roof panels there as well, changing them from black to multicoloured. You notice as well, or the eagle eye viewers will have noticed anyway, that I actually changed the height of the show building. Originally, I planned for the scenes to be double the height of what they are, but then I thought, no, I'm going to keep it quite quaint. I'm going to keep the ceiling quite low, and that's exactly why I lowered, I took off that extra rim, what was around the top of walls, and sort of lowered it down. That's exactly why I did that, just to kind of, I thought, well, no, it doesn't need to have big tall set pieces. And look at this, can you imagine going into there and it's smelling of gingerbread? You turn that corner, your floor, your ceiling, your walls, and then you got all these gingerbread hearts and gingerbread men and women and reindeers and Santas in there, and pretzels. Why not? Like, let's stick some pretzels in. To be honest, I thought they just fit with the colour scheme in there, so why not? Let's add them in. This is a food factory, you know, a crazy food factory. Let's add in these larger than life pretzels as you go into that room. But can you imagine the smell like gingerbread? And I'd say the smell of pretzels, but pretzels don't really have that much of a smell, do they? I don't think. I don't know. And wafers there at the end, wafer doors that we're putting in. It's all a bit crazy, this dark ride, you know, but I'm really pleased with it. And the wafer theme is going to extend into the onload and offload area for this dark ride as well. So honestly, I'm really looking forward to hearing all of your different names and storylines for this, but don't get too distracted just by the dark ride. Remember, I would love names as well for the two flat rides, and I'll reveal them in the next episode. But there we go, as you can see, we're nearly at the end of this episode 2 of Let's Play Planet Coaster Christmas Wonderland, and another week closer to Christmas on the big Christmas countdown. We're going to be taking you up, well, until past Christmas. The final episode will be just before New Year's Eve, and I tell you what, let's hope next year is going to be a better one, shall we, for all of us. I really hope so. That's the idea of this series, spreading some joy and positivity, and that is the plan moving forward. So thank you once again for joining me here on Theme Park Worldwide for this episode. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Like I say, in terms of how this is all coming together, I'm quite pleased so far. You know, we've got the dark ride, we've got some jammy dodgers and stuff going in there. Are they jammy dodgers? No, they're not. Oh, what do you call them? No, they are jammy dodgers, aren't they? I think. But no, they've got a love heart in the middle. They're different, but they're like jammy dodgers, and I'm going to find out exactly what they are. Oh, look at that, all that going in. Honestly, it's going to smell delicious in there, isn't it? Like, can you imagine all the smell pods inside? But anyway, thank you so much. I'm getting distracted again. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Theme Park Worldwide Christmas Wonderland. And that means it leaves me one more thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you soon.